Alright, here's a video asking for some help from all the different metal shapers groups. I've put something online sending folks to this link to get some advice. I've done a lot of moving metal around before, but here's the situation. This car was in a barn fire with 3 other cars that were supposedly fully restored, and the barn caught on fire. That burnt the cars up, and then the barn collapsed on top of them, of course, while everything was still hot. If you look across the windshield post there, you'll see that's where something fell down on top of it and dented it in. The cowl here is pretty much a mess, but that's going to end up being replaced because this was a 6-cylinder convertible 1934 Chrysler, and even though the Chrysler convertibles were rare, only 280 made, it was even fewer percentage of those were 8-cylinder convertibles. So we're going to cut this entire cowl out and put the shorter cowl ends to make room for the longer straight 8 motor. But first we got to get what we've got here straight so that when we cut it apart, we're working with straight stuff to put it back together. Unfortunately, all that heat, if you look here, you can see a gap right there. It's warped this thing up pretty doggone badly. Areas like this right here, right there. So there's a lot of excess metal, and I've worked on this corner. I've worked on it from about here to here, and actually with some off dolly, some donut dolly work and whatnot, I've actually got that looking pretty good. So I know the metal is still workable, but I just don't know if this project, well, I don't even really know if I should undertake it, to be quite honest. We're going to take a little walk around the shop here, get over to the this is a floor pan. This is the trunk that goes on the back. I meant to show you up in the windshield frames up there. There's melted aluminum and melted glass down in the channels. This is the lid to the trunk. I don't know if you can see how warped up this is or not. Let's see if I can try to put some sort of straight edge on there and show you. I mean, it's awful. It's just, and I don't know if that's from just heat damage or if it's from heat and stuff falling on it. You can see the aluminum hinge here melted, and so now we'll walk over to the other side of the shop here and show you that I've started working this area. This is the valance that the trunk sits on that we were just looking at, and I've done a little bit of work in here. Again, some off dolly stuff, got this kind of straightened up. I think this curve is supposed to be there. I'm going to have to go look at another car to find out. But I worked around here. I worked this area to get this crease back like it's supposed to be. The brake just is holding it in here, and since I'm right on the edge, I was able to push down on this and do a little hammer work along there and get that tuned up. But inside of these depressed panels, because we're looking at the inside, there is just a whole lot of extra metal. You can see the oil can there, and then there's oil cans in the other direction from the other side, because this is just so totally worked up. This same thing over here, it seems like a tight, but it's actually quite an oil can right there. And then the areas here between this bead and between this panel, this depressed area, again, we've got extra metal in here. We've got a constant bow, and I've had all kinds of suggestions as to fix it. One suggestion was to just go ahead, cut this out completely, weld a new piece in, and then I'd know where all the stresses were, which is a viable idea rather than trying to heat shrink all these different areas. But I'm looking for suggestions. I'm looking for more suggestions. This is a lot more than I've ever had to do with a car body. Collision damage is one thing. This heat warpage, when you don't know where the heat went, and I mean, from a collision you can see where the dent was, so you know where the stretches are, and you know what you have to shrink. Here the entire body was just heated up, warped all to pieces, and trying to read the panel is difficult to say the least. So any of you metal shapers out there got any ideas, leave the comments either here on YouTube or back on the page where I'm asking for help on metalmeat.com or All Metal Shaping or West Coast Metal Shapers or All Shops. I'm going to put it up on all 4 of the major sites. So looking forward to hearing from you guys. I need help. Thanks. Bye.